Hi, everybody.
Hey, how's
Hopefully
everybody
you guys
doing?
can see us. It's a little dark in here, isn't it?
Yep.
That's okay. All right, so we are wanting to talk with you for a few minutes about week 1 and 2 and also de-stressing and what we're doing for week 3. So we've done our water.
Yep.
We've also done cleanses. Some of you did, some of you did not. But hopefully you continued with your water. I had a couple days where I didn't even get half of my water, and they were not good days.
I did too on the first of this week, and
What a
man,
difference.
did I feel it.
I didn't even really think that water had that much to do with headaches and stress and feeling fatigued and stuff, but it made a big difference.
Yeah.
So I only went about 2.5 days without my normal water intake, and then I jumped right back into it. So
That's about what I did too. I just
yeah.
work got busy at the beginning of this week, so I didn't get my water intake in, and man, by Wednesday I was feeling it, so I got my water crank back up Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and I could tell a big difference.
I hope some of you have used the recipes we had for flavoring your water, whether you're using essential oils or fruit, because one of the biggest ways to stick with something is to make sure it's enjoyable. And if you were not a water drinker before and you didn't love just plain water, which usually that's for most of our athletes, people that work out all the time that crave it, it's really hard to drink that much water.
It is. It was hard for me.
Especially when you're trying to lose weight and you're like, half my body weight?
Yeah.
That's where you were, right?
I was like, that's like a gallon of water. How am I
Over.
supposed to do that?
Okay, so we want you to continue that. The liver cleanse, that's something that you can do throughout this entire 8-week, a new year, a new you. You can do it at any time for a day, for a few days. I've seen people do it for up to a week.
Yeah.
Where they have done one of those every single day. I've seen people do it for 2 or 3 days in place of eating and just do like liquids, juices, and broths. So it's completely up to you how you want to
incorporate that into what
Right,
you're doing.
right.
So we usually do it when we do it usually for like 2 or 3 days.
But yeah, it definitely has cleaned me out.
Yeah.
That's what I'll just say. We won't get really into all the details, but it's definitely working.
Yeah.
So one of the things I want to talk about real quick is de-stress. I know many of you, based on the questionnaire we had, have struggled with stress, which we all do, because we live in an environment that just allows stress. We
Well, it's
live in a
like-
world of sin.
It was
and-
like 80% are moderate or high.
yeah. I don't think anyone said no stress. That wasn't even a choice I put in there.
No, it was.
Was
but
it?
but nobody said that.
Okay.
Nobody said I don't deal with stress at all.
So if you remember the very first post, I talked about dry brushing and Epsom salt baths and using deep breathing techniques and things like that. Those are something you should do throughout. But those seem like really minimal things for de-stressing.
Yeah.
So the other things that we're going to talk about is we're gonna discuss eating. This next week, we are going to start our adventure of cleaner eating, because much of our stress lives in our gut.
Yes.
If you ever have studied the entire digestive system, it is the reason for so many of our health problems and our mental stress and anguish and fatigue and hormone imbalance. So that's one of the things that we're going to be working on, is what we're taking into our gut.
Yep. So you guys saw my post about, I did kind of a post early on or middle of the week that said, about mental stress and, taking negatives and making them positives and, big situations and focusing on the positives in each of those situations. So that's the mental aspect
Shannon.
of it. But like Tracy just said, your gut, a lot of times you'll hear the gut is your second brain.
Yeah.
And how we're feeling and how our body is functioning has a lot to do with what's going on in our gut. So are we going to talk about like probiotics and eating right, or where are we going?
We're just going to talk about good old-fashioned eating clean.
Okay.
So one of the biggest things that we're going to discuss, and it's something that we are also working on in this 8 weeks to go to a new you, a new lifestyle, we are removing fast food.
Okay.
We are getting rid of a lot of the restaurants, because your upscale restaurants where you can tell the chef exactly how to prepare your food, we don't have a lot of those around here. And if we do, many of them, they're not in our budget.
Right.
We can't afford them. They're something that you do maybe one time a year, if that. So there's not really a way that you can go to McDonald's and ask them to prepare your food really healthy other than you can have them clean out the entire fry thing. I've seen them do this for people.
Yeah.
They can wipe it all down for someone that has hypertension and can't have salt, and they can make them French fries with no salt. But there's still salt that's in the French fry itself and also in the oil.
Yeah.
So that's about as healthy as we get with our fast food. So what we're going to talk about is eating cleaner. One of the first things that we're going to do this week is we want you to start looking at the labels, and I want you to focus on chemicals and sodium, because sodium is one of the things that causes us to do what? Retain not just water, it also causes you to retain chemicals, to retain processed foods, to retain dyes.
Well, it gives your liver more to have to work on as well.
Right. Yeah. And anytime you're taking in additives that are not real food, which is a lot of the chemicals in our processed food that we buy packaged at the store or our restaurants, your liver, your digestive system, everything that has to work is working overtime because it's having to go through all of those chemicals and try and break them down and get rid of them and remove them into waste. We're giving extra work to our body, and that takes away from our rest. It takes away from our work. It takes away from just peace of mind and having less mental stress.
Yeah.
So food is huge.
So I'm not going to have to be whipping up batches of kombucha. Good deal. So this is like, watch what we're eating.
It should be more simple when you go to the grocery store.
Read the labels. Check and make sure that what I'm getting is good for me. Whole foods.
Whole foods.
Okay.
A lot of you have probably heard of the Whole30. We drink raw milk, so we get it up the road.
Yeah.
We drink kombucha. We'll talk about that later. That's a fun thing to help with your gut for probiotics, like you said.
Yeah.
We also do a lot of foods that are produce, especially right now with you juicing and doing lots of smoothies.
Right.
So we try to stay on the outside aisles of the grocery store. That allows us to stay away from all your prepackaged foods. And when we hit the frozen section, which is very rare, we will get individual bags of salmon or tilapia or things that are maybe frozen fruits for smoothies. Mm-hmm. But we stay away from a lot of those prepackaged foods because they are mainly not food. If you read through the labels, you'll see what I'm talking about. So we're not going to get real technical into label reading. This is what I want to do to make it super simple. 5 to 7 ingredients is your goal. If it's 7 to 10, that's also okay. Make sure that your foods have about those ingredients or less.
Is that on prepackaged foods then?
Yes.
Okay.
If there's more than 7 to 10 ingredients and they're not real food that you can recognize, probably shouldn't be eating it if you're trying to get to a new you. If the chemicals are things in there that you can pronounce, but you can't understand what they do in your body and you don't know where they came from,
that might not be
probably
real food.
not a good idea to have them. We know what vitamin A is, but do we all know what sodium triphosphate does to our body? No. So probably don't want it. I know what monosodium glutamate or MSG does to me. It creates migraines.
So
I stay away from it.
I was thinking of the last time that we went to the store here this last week, and we just stayed on the outside edges of the store.
And we don't even read labels hardly anymore because we're not doing that much prepackaged food.
Yeah.
I do want quick meals. I'm all for simple. I'm all for not having to make it a headache for your meals. So we look for spaghetti sauces or organic marinara because you can throw a lot of foods together with that. We look for that organic, or we look for it with maybe 4 or 5 ingredients and a lower sodium.
And ingredients that we can pronounce, like tomatoes.
Right. If you eat the way that your great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents did 100+ years ago, you're good.
Yeah.
So that's my quick tip. My other thing is if you want something that you know you love at a grocery store, at a restaurant, then making it at home, I promise, it will be healthier.
So we've done that. We've done that
healthier.
Several times with stuff that we love.
And staying away from your blonde and light brownish foods is usually a good thing. That's your chips, your cereals, your granola bars, your breaded fish, your breaded chicken nuggets, your pizzas. If that is a staple in your diet, try to cut that back to about 20%. If you can do 80% whole foods, that's meats that are not breaded, lean meats, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, you're going to be good.
Yeah.
You're going to see big changes in your health and your body. The other thing I want you to focus on with this clean eating is coupons. I used to be a coupon queen, wasn't I?
Absolutely.
I would print stacks of them.
Literally.
Most of your coupons are for toiletries, beauty products, cleaners, and processed foods. So you're not going to find coupons for salmon or chicken breast or a big bag of apples. They're just not out there.
If you do, it's very rare.
Very rare.
And send them to me because that's what I'm gonna.
So,
no, I'm kidding.
If you want to know about the Thieves Fruit and Veggie Wash, if you know anything about Young Living, we use a lot of their products. We soak for 2 or 3 minutes all of our produce, so we don't have to buy organic. We save a lot of money. Mm-hmm. If you want to buy organic and you've got the budget, great. Find out the foods that you can eat that don't need to be organic. Like you don't need a pineapple or a coconut or an avocado to be organic because you're not eating the outside. So that's one way to minimize also chemicals in the foods that you're buying that are clean and good. The other thing I want you to focus on is your labels. If it says carb free, no such thing. There's no such thing, right? A nut has carbs. A banana has carbs. A piece of
amount of it
of spinach leaf has carbs.
Yeah.
But what kind of carbs? So focus on seeing things low fat, low sugar, sugar free. Those kind of things. If you will compare a low fat or a low sugar or a sugar free to something that's original of that product, flip the labels. You're going to see like 5 to 10 more chemicals in the low-fat, sugar-free, chemical-free. They're replacing it with stuff that's not natural. So it's not always good to look for the something free, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Okay. And so for stress, you have a stressful job, right?
A little bit.
So if you can't take away the stress of your job, the stress of health issues that you are currently having right now, how do you cope with them? One of the biggest things we've done is water.
Yep.
We've talked about Epsom salt baths to soak, to relax. The other thing is sleep. We've mentioned just a tiny bit of that. That's huge. The other thing is, what are you taking in? Are you around people that talk negative all the time? Are you watching negative movies? Are you listening to negative stuff? Are you reading books that are creating stress? Even violent movies, if it's something that you don't enjoy, if you're not into the action, G.I. Joe, Mission Impossible stuff, that could create stress, right?
Yeah.
So think about your environment and stuff that's already stressing you and how you can actually like filter that down. It might be a relationship. You might have to remove yourself a little bit from some of the communication with people that are stressing you out.
Absolutely.
If it's your spouse, we need to talk. We'll have to come up with something else. But those are
find
things,
a way to turn positive or negative situations into positives if that's
there
the
you
case.
go. There you go.
Yeah.
What is the proverb? A gentle answer turns away wrath.
Yep.
A harsh word stirs up anger. So how we respond to negative things also has a lot to do with our stress. So guess what? That means our mouth, not just our thoughts and our hearing of stuff, but our responding to stuff actually can create more stress in our health and in our mind, right?
Absolutely.
So the last thing I'm going to tell you with stress is I've got this Fitbit. Jeff has a Fitbit. A lot of you do. If you don't, it's no big deal, but mine has my heart rate on it, which is a super cool thing because my last one didn't. So I had a situation a few days ago that was very stressful in a work type environment, and my heart rate runs between like 62 and 65.
That's your standard heart rate. So
Not
like
resting, but when I'm
so
up
what
and
is it
around.
right now? Just I bet it's about that.
Right now, it's actually 75 because I'm
But
all
she's-
excited about week
but she's
3.
excited. She's talking, and
Yeah, so it's normally about 63 to 65.
Okay.
My heart rate, I was sitting down when this situation occurred that I witnessed. I wasn't a part of it, but I was sitting down watching it, and my heart rate got up and stayed for over half an hour at 96.
Just because of stress.
96. I wasn't even moving. I didn't even stand up.
Yeah.
96. So you cannot tell me that stress does not change the organs of our body and how fast our heart has to pump. I mean, it was just evident in my Fitbit. So if you have one, that might be a great thing to start looking at when you get frustrated, when you get agitated, when you get overwhelmed, when you get depressed, is to look at your heart rate and see, and then take some of these coping mechanisms and exercises and things we've talked about and use them to bring that stress level back down. Because for your body to work efficiently, it can't be stressed.
Right. I love it.
Okay, add your 2 cents.
I don't have anything.
Add your positiveness of the first 2 weeks of how you've
So
done.
for my positiveness, I'm doing really good on water. and I've amped
His
that up.
face even like doesn't
And,
look as swollen as
I
it
can
did
just
a
tell
few
you. I
weeks
mean,
ago.
do I make a lot more trips down the hall? Yeah, but that's a good thing. That's a
Yeah.
good thing because that means you're taking those toxins and getting them out of your body. And so on the stress, doing real well with that.
And talk about your lemonade, your liver cleanse.
Getting more
that you've
sleep,
done.
and that's what I was gonna say. On the liver cleanse, the lemonade. Somebody posted if you can get over the cayenne, and that was kind of like the first thing for me too. It was like, wow, this is like really
Spicy.
spicy for lemonade.
Maybe going in and coming out.
But yeah, it once you realize that okay, that's part of it, and that's part of the cleanse. It's all good.
It's just temporary.
yeah. It's just
for a few days. Yeah.
And I've enjoyed that too.
What about work? Like, how has it changed day-to-day work? Because you still have the same problems to solve.
Sure.
You still have the same meetings to go to.
At work, I can tell you I have more focus. I've already noticed that over the last 2 weeks.
He's nicer at home.
Yeah, and that's awesome.
He's just not frustrated when he comes home because he has a mountain of stress on him. He still has the same responsibilities.
And so I'm making sure that I'm getting like that downtime that I mentioned the other day in that post. I'm taking little breaks here and there and just, focusing on whatever the positives might be. I might have a situation at work where it's just, I've got a lot going on, but so I'll focus, or something's broken or something like that.
Yeah.
And I will just focus on, hey, I've got a job. That's good. That's a positive. I've got people that I can interact with and that can help me with this.
Yeah.
It's just focus on the little positives along the way and not worry about the overwhelming, I've got a job to do. I've got something to fix or something to change. So that's really helped me with that.
No matter how important your job is and your title, and whether you own your own business or you work for someone else, that situation that you are stressed out about at work, if you were gone tomorrow and work continued at that company or that business, those situations of stress and problem solving and dealing with negative things would still continue to come up and someone else would deal with them. So I'm not minimalizing your position, your career.
No.
What I'm saying is don't let it take over your health.
Yeah.
Don't let it become more important than your health. So it's really about changing the brain and focusing the thoughts differently to not let it get you worked up.
Doing some self-care mentally.
Yeah.
And
this too shall pass.
Yeah, and realizing
I say that a lot
that
in my mind.
like you said, it will pass.
Yeah.
And
okay, and so real quick on the accountability partners, I think everyone has a partner. If you don't, comment in here and let us know
we'll
that
get
you still need one.
We'll make sure to get you
but
one.
here's the thing with the partners. I want it to be easy, so get with each other, find out your best communication. You can do it through the group with posts. You can do it on your own. You can private message. You can call. You can text. Whatever works for you guys. You can meet for coffee. However that works.
Yeah.
But what I want you to do is focus on every 2 to 3 days trying to contact that partner, even if it's just a quick, hey, I saw you posted in the group. I'm just so glad that you're in here doing this with me. Or, hey, I'm just so glad I heard that your jeans fit better now and that you're doing well. Or, hey, thank you so much for that little quote that you sent me. That just brightened my day. Something to let them know that you're on board with them and that the things that you're doing and that they're doing, that you're together in this. It's not going to be exactly the same road for everybody, but we want us to not be alone in this. That's why we have the partners.
Yeah, it's about.
And we are not partners.
We're not partners.
Like, in life we are, but not in this.
But we partnered up. I have two.
I
think
two.
You have two.
Yeah.
Because we're helping lead, and there's some other leaders in here that'll have 1 or 2 partners, and that's okay. So I've reached out to both of my partners and just send an encouraging text. Hey, I'm glad we're partners. Let's touch base every day or every 2 days, whatever works out. Like you said, if you guys are in the same area and you could meet for coffee, that's awesome.
You can mail them a card, whatever works out. Exchange each other's favorite color or birthdays or whatever you want to do. This is something just for the next 6 weeks. You may develop a friendship through that afterwards, but what I want is for everyone to feel like they have support, they have accountability.
Yeah.
Even when you're struggling, get a hold of that partner and go, I am struggling today.
Yeah, so
I ate a whole bunch of stuff I shouldn't have, or something. Say, I just need some encouragement. I need some prayer. I just need somebody to talk to for 5 minutes tonight. Can we visit on the phone? Whatever you need, don't feel that you can't share that with the person, even if you don't know them personally, because some of us are paired up with people we hardly know.
So, tell them how proud you are of them, because we're proud of all of you guys. We're proud of every one of you guys. and how good you guys are doing and sticking with us. We're getting, baby steps here. We started with water, then we're talking about sleep and de-stressing. Now we're moving into food.
We're going to be doing a lot of nutrition.
Don't worry, we'll get to exercise. For those of you that are like, when are we going to start exercising? We'll get into that.
It's actually coming this week. I'm going to have Jeff video doing a few things that are very simple but very effective, like 5 or 10 minutes.
So, but encourage each other. I'm proud of you. You're doing a great job. But when you're down or you're not, thank you. When you're down and you're not, you missed the mark. Hey, I didn't get my water in today. Hey, that's okay. You're going to make it tomorrow. So encourage each other.
Start over every day with a clean slate.
Yep.
You might have messed up today. I bought some really good organic chocolate, and I was going to have a square, but I had 4. So I messed up.
Wow.
But
I don't know if I'm proud of that.
That's why it's gone. Buy some really good chocolate, like 60% cacao or more. Dark chocolate helps with your cardiovascular health. It also helps to elevate your mood.
But she's not advocating eating an entire bar in one sitting.
Like
one
a square like this big. So I had 4 of them. Yeah.
Wow.
If you live locally, you got to go to Lucky's. They have really good chocolate bars.
Were you stressed that day?
I was stressed that day. So yeah, there's my confession. I ate 4 times the chocolate that I intended to when I opened the bar. So, okay. So we'll see you guys here in a couple days. We're going to probably be posting every few days, so you're going to get sick of us. But we've given everybody a chance to get settled in the group. If you have any questions,